Hey guys, this is Krishna here. Today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I honestly believe doesn't get discussed enough, and it's really important. And it's one of those things that if you can master it, you'll be able to do more output and get faster results, make faster progress in your business, and overall be able to make more money. So it's really important that you know this down for two reasons. The first one is that if you can maximize your efficiency and do more work or more output in less time, it's going to allow you to stack more tasks. Right? Imagine you knock out one task, then you do the next task and the next task and you could just be super efficient, super fast in the way that you do things. It's what it's going to allow you to do. It's going to allow you to compress time, right? Someone might have to work 3 days or 4 hours to do the work that you can do in one day. And what this is going to allow you to do is just make more money, grow faster, make more progress, and just really dominate your industry, right? Because if you can do more output, whether it's just being faster with your time, being more efficient, being more focused, being more determined to like finish the task quickly and in like a timely manner, or having the leverage, right? It could be even being able to speak well and make content and be able to multiply yourself, right? Because when you make content, you can talk to like hundreds, thousands of people in like 1 second or 1 minute or 10 minutes, however long the video is, right? So that's like one of the ways that you can kind of like maximize your output. And there's another way you can also maximize your output, and it's by having employees, right? It's by having teams or people who work for you and your company or your business who allow you to do more outputs in one day than other people who might take, 3 or 4 days to do the same amount of work that you do in one day because you have a team and you also have higher focus, higher efficiency, and you just have way more leverage than them, right? So I'm going to be talking about this topic because that's the number one benefit. You can just do more in less time, make more money, do more output, more progress. And number two is that if you can finish, tasks quicker and be more efficient, it allows you to spend your time, on other things, right? Because you have to remember, we get into entrepreneurship because we want to make money, right? We want to have, the financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom. We want to be able to help our friends and family. We want to be able to travel, see the world, buy things, right? We want to have nice cars, nice apartment, nice houses, and just be able to like invest money and, make sure that we're set for life. That's why we get into entrepreneurship, right? We want to make money. We want to be financial free and, have all these things, right? So it's really important that you learn how to be efficient with your time, that you can compress the amount of work that you do in like as many days and as many like hours as possible. Right? You want to be able to do 3 days of work in one day so that you can have, time to, actually enjoy your life and do the things that you want to do with the money, right? That's why we got started. And it's really important that we actually monetize or, do this really well because you have to remember that if you're really slow or you're inefficient with your time, you're going to be stuck on the computer, on working on your business instead of being able to do the things that you wanted to do in the beginning, right? So it's really important that you maximize your time, do things efficiently so that you can, number one, do more output, do more tasks, grow faster, make faster progress. And number two, so that you can also enjoy your life and do the things that you wanted to do in the beginning, right? This is why you got into entrepreneurship. So it's really important that you don't lose the plot, right? That you don't end up becoming, someone that grinds 24/7, but doesn't actually spend his money, doesn't actually do the things that he wanted to do when he first got started, right? So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So, like I said, there's several ways to multiply yourself and to give yourself more efficiency and more output. And I'm going to be talking about one specific one in this video because if I talk about all the ways that you could do it, it'll be a really long video. So I just want to focus on like one core concept, right? So this time in this video, I'm not going to be talking about, how to hire employees, how to build teams. So you can kind of multiply yourself because if you think about it, if you have 10 employees, you kind of have, 240 hours in a day because you just have 10 people's clocks, right? You have 10 people's time and energy and, focus, right? And it's kind of like a cheat code. And I'm not going to be talking about it in this video because most of you guys watching this video, most of the guys watching this channel are not like at the stage where you have huge teams and huge employees. So I'm going to be talking about how to like multiply your output with employees. And I'm also not going to talk about how to multiply your output with content, right? Because most of you guys, watching this, maybe you have a business where you don't make content. Maybe you have a business where maybe you have a marketing agency. Maybe you have, service providing business. So you don't have to, actually make content with your own face and you're not like, posting videos on a regular basis. So content is like a way you can multiply yourself because you can kind of like talk to 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people at once. And it gives you so much leverage because you're multiplying yourself, right? And I'm not going to be talking about this because you're probably not a content creator. I'm going to be focusing on like how you can, maximize your output as like an individual, as one person, right? So one of the ways that you can maximize your output as one person or as an individual and be able to do your task faster, be able to do more tasks in a single day, or just knock out your work faster so that you can go out there and have fun. I'm going to be talking about that specifically in this video, right? So one of the ways that you can accomplish this is that whenever you do tasks, you need to be able to focus on this single task you're doing, right? So let's say, for example, you're setting outreach messages, or you're editing a video, or you're creating content, or you're looking to do this particular task for your business. You have to make sure that this is the sole focus of the event, right? You don't want to have the TV on. You don't want to be like watching a YouTube podcast. You don't want to be scrolling Twitter or scrolling TikTok on your phone while you're doing work. You want a single task, right? You want to make sure that this is like the sole focus of the what you're working on, right? You want to make sure that when you're working on the computer, maybe you're writing on a journal, maybe you're working on your tablet, drawing some graphics, whatever you're doing, right? You just want to concentrate on this, right? So try to eliminate all the distractions, right? Try to eliminate notifications, put your phone in a different room, turn off and close all the tabs that are not related to work, right? Close that Twitter tab, close that YouTube tab, close Instagram, try to eliminate all the distractions so that you can really focus on the work that you have now. Because one of the things that happens a lot to beginner entrepreneurs is that they'll do work, right? But they'll also be distracted. So one task that takes 1 or 2 hours can take you 4 or 5 hours. And when you do this, you're just going to do less work in a day. You're going to do less tasks. And you might have a to-do list that you want to do, like, hey, I'm going to do these 10 things today. You're not going to be able to hit your list of like tasks to do because you're working so slow. You're spending time doing things that should only take 1 or 2 hours, right? So it's really important that you eliminate distractions so that you can actually, do the task faster. And when your attention is divided, you're also like not doing your highest quality work, right? Not only are you working slower, but you're also doing less quality work, right? You're out here, kind of trying to write a message to sign a client. Maybe you're doing some outreach. Maybe you're editing a video, or you're trying to create content. And in between the content, cuts, you're watching TV, you're listening to music or whatever, right? The content's not going to come out as good. The outreach message you make is not going to come out as good because you're just not paying attention, right? You're going to miss details. You're going to miss words. You're going to make typos. You're going to make mistakes that you wouldn't have made if you were just focused on doing this one thing, right? So not only are you going to do the task faster, but the quality of the task is going to be better, right? And there's another element to it too, because when you do repetitions, when you do work, you're not just trying to do it faster and higher quality. You also want to become better, right? You're trying to level up. You're trying to improve as an entrepreneur. And if you're not paying attention, you're not going to improve as much as you would, right? Because you need to pay attention to the way you speak on videos, you make videos, on the way that you write whenever you send these messages to sign clients, or maybe you're doing client work, maybe you're editing a video, maybe you're running ad campaigns, whatever you're doing, right? You have to actually learn the skill and, get better at it so that in the future you can charge more money, so that you can get paid more, so you can give better client results, so you can do better videos to get more followers, to grow your audience, right? You have to actually be getting better. And you're not going to be able to get better because you're not actually paying attention to those little details because you're distracted, right? So there's three main benefits of, actually doing things with focus and intention is number one, you're going to finish faster. You're going to do the task in 2 hours instead of 5 hours. So it's going to give you time to do more tasks. And number two, you're going to do higher quality of work, right? So the videos you make are going to get more views. They're going to get more followers. They're going to get more engagement, or like the client messages that you send, like to get clients, like the outreach. It's going to work better. It's going to get more responses. It's going to book more meetings. It's going to sign more clients, and you're going to make more money. And number three, because you're more intentional and you're more focused and you're actually paying attention to the details, you're going to improve and get better, right? So you'll be able to edit videos faster. You'll be able to record videos faster. You'll be able to send messages faster. You'll be able to do the client work, edit videos, or, run ad campaigns. You're going to be able to do the work better and faster and more efficiently. And you're going to get paid more for it because you're just a better, more valuable entrepreneur, right? So these are the three reasons why it's really important that you really maximize your efficiency, right? You start to actually, do things one by one, right? And make this your sole focus, right? Personally, like I like the journal, right? So what I always refer to this inside my journal is I want to work with focus intensity, right? I call it focus intensity because when you're focused, there's only one thing you're doing. You're single tasking. You're not like doing anything else. You have no distractions. This is like your single focus, right? And I call it focus intensity because there's different levels of focus, right? You can kind of focus, half paying attention to the TV, half, paying attention to the computer, and you're not really focused. So the focus intensity is kind of low, right? You're like, your attention is divided between the TV and the laptop. So the focus intensity is low. And number two is, sometimes you can have moderate focus intensity, right? Maybe you're like thinking about problems. Maybe you're thinking about financial problems. Maybe you're thinking about an argument with a friend or a family member. Maybe you're thinking about what you're going to do this weekend. So when you're on the computer, you're trying to do the work, but you're kind of thinking in the back of your mind about other things, right? So you're not working with focus intensity. You're not like as distracted as, watching TV or listening to a podcast or like, talking to someone beside you, or like listening to music or being on the phone, you're not that distracted, but you still have, underlying thoughts that are like kind of like pulling you in different directions. You'll stare at the screen and you'll look at like this like document that you have to write out, or like this video you have to edit. And for a second or for a minute or two, you'll start to think about something else. You like look out the window and get distracted. You'll blank out and like look at the screen and you'll just start to think about something else, right? That's like means your focus intensity isn't 100%, right? You're thinking about other things. You have other like stresses or things that are like preoccupying you, right? They're keeping you like, thinking about them, right? So your focus intensity might be moderate if you're in this stage, right? Now, one of the ways that you can improve your focus intensity, or the ability to focus more intensely, is by just being able to like really make sure that this task that you're working on is the only thing you're thinking about, right? So one of the ways you can do this is by, blocking out the drama, right? There's like toxic people in your life, people that distract you. Stop engaging with them, stop being friends with them, try to distance yourself, or just try to like facilitate your life, right? It might be, you're stressing over financial problems, right? Because maybe you're not doing the progress or the money that you want to make. You just have to, focus, start to do better work, and these stresses will start to like, disappear over time. And I know it's hard to ignore sometimes, especially like when you have really like serious problems, financial problems, or these other problems. It's really hard to focus, but you can kind of train your mind to zone out, right? Because what you want to do is you want to have these problems. You're always going to have problems, but you want to have them outside of your work. You want to have them outside of the task you're doing. Right now, when you're staring at this laptop, trying to make this video, trying to do this outreach message, trying to do this client work, you want to make this the only thing that matters, right? Because it actually is, right? If you can nail this down, if you could do this well, you can make money. You can fix your problems. You can eliminate some of the stresses in your life if you just lock in and really focus on this one thing, right? So try to focus on it, right? Try to like eliminate everything, right? Try to work with focus intensity. And the reason why I call it focus intensity is because it's basically that's what it is, right? You want to focus, but not just focus like on a low level or a moderate level. You want to intensely focus. You want to focus with like as much attention as possible, right? And focus intensity is hard to achieve when you're tired, when you're like low energy, when you have brain fog. So in order to achieve focus intensity, you also have to make sure that your diet's on point, your sleep is on point, and you're taking like a good amount of caffeine. If you take way too much caffeine, you're not going to be able to focus because your brain is just going spinning too fast and things like that, right? So try to like find the best optimal like conditions for your brain so you can have this focus intensity. Try to focus on as much as possible, right? Try to stop watching TikTok videos, stop watching Netflix, stop watching playing video games. Start to like build your focus, right? Start to like eliminate these brain rot things as well, so that you can actually focus, right? It's kind of like a something you have to develop over time, and once you develop this focus, it's gonna be a lot easier for you guys to like concentrate, right? So, anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to go on so many tangents, but pretty much the premise of this video that I'm trying to tell you is that you want to work with focus intensity. You want to do single task. You want to, make sure that you're actually doing the things that move the needle, because number one, you'll be able to do more tasks because you're doing it faster, more efficiently. Number two, you'll be able to have more fun and actually enjoy your life, right? Because the whole point is not just to be like locked in your room on your laptop all day. You actually want to go enjoy your life and do fun things with your money, right? So try to lock in, try to do this serious. And like I said, the three benefits of this is also going to be you're going to do things faster, you're going to do higher quality work, you're going to improve and be better. So again, I just want to remind you guys of these benefits because it's one of those things that if you really nail down, you'll be able to do more work and you'll be able to see other people, right? Other people are going to see you and think like, hey, how come this guy's progressing so fast? How is he going from 0 to 5K to 10K and beyond so fast? Like how's he making so much progress, right? And it might be a little bit luck, it might be a good fortune, but it's also, also this focus intensity, right? People are out here working slow. They're out here working distracted. They're kind of in kind of half out. But when you work at focus intensity, you're 100%. You're actually doing the work and you're taking it serious, right? And people might see you like, hey, this guy works like 4, 6, 8 hours a day, and he has time to go out. He has time to enjoy life. How does he do it? How does he progress faster than other people when he just like works 6 or 8 hours? And how does he do it? Like, how does he live that cool life and make so much money and make so much progress when he only works a few hours, right? That's what people are gonna be thinking when they see you like working with this focus intensity, right? Because you do more in one day than what they do in 3 days, right? So pretty much that's the concept I want to talk to you guys about in this video. I don't want to make this video too long. I know I went on like a lot of like several tangents, but it's because this topic is so like general. Like, there's so many things to it. There's like optimizing your whole hormones so that you can have, mental clarity, and boosting your testosterone so that you can actually focus. There's also the element of release like lowering your dopamine levels so that you don't like get dopamine from junk food or scrolling TikTok and all these things, so that you can actually get dopamine from the work. So there's like so many elements to this, and I don't want to make this video extremely long. So I just wanted to talk about the two benefits you're gonna get. More work and more output and more fun, but also the three, micro benefits that you get, which is, faster progress, higher quality work, and better, improvement and learning, right? So pretty much that's what I want to talk about in this video. And if you guys found the video valuable, make sure you like the video. I'm going to be posting videos every, Monday and Friday. And if you subscribe and you turn on notifications, you're not going to miss any of these uploads. So make sure you like the video and make sure you subscribe as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video.